When I come to think of foremost COVID-19 expert, I definitely think of my friend Mike Sullivan, who is joining us. Mike Sullivan, welcome to the Spiro Avenue studio. Thanks for coming, man.
It's a beautiful studio, man, and especially having been referred by none other than Roberto, I had to swing by just for him.
Yeah, Roberto twisted your arm and said, "You got to do it, man. This guy's paying me a lot of money to put the show together." So, he felt bad. I think he knew I really wanted to get you.
I love Roberto, so I had to. But no, certainly I don't see any Michigan stuff around here at all.
No. I think your former coworker Mike Valenti would probably enjoy it. But
this is great. This is a beautiful studio, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, I told you before the show. It's kind of like giving driver's ed school a bunch of Ferraris. It's like I'm totally underqualified to have this nice of a space to work in, but definitely psyched and happy to have you. I mean,
for sure.
Where are you at with this college football thing? Like, everyone's got a hot take. Yep. We both know I'm not an epidemiologist. You're not. But, like, where's your kind of layman's take on this? Like, are we playing? Should we play?
I don't know. It's crazy. If I had to guess or bet, I would say that they're not. There's just so much uncertainty right now. I mean, what is it right now? It's August 10th, and there's this much uncertainty of, is there going to be a season? Is there going to be 10 games? Is there going to be, I've heard people say 6 games, 8 games. I just don't really know how it happens. And I wish I could say otherwise with that. I wish I could say that, hey, it's going to happen. College is going to play. I hope. I personally hope that college football finds a way to play. Of course I do. And I think that it's fine for people to hope that they play. It's fine for people to hope and want college football to be played safely, right? And for people to have that hope that it's still being played without being yelled at and told that you want people to die because you are hoping college football plays. But that being said, I think that there's a better chance NFL plays and really tries to give it a go than college. I think with college, there's a lot of moving parts, and ultimately, if I had to guess, I would say that they probably don't play just based on all that uncertainty right now.
And you have, different conferences with different regulations and different processes. So, I mean, I agree. It's a lot easier to control the NFL.
Yep.
And even just from a moral standpoint, they're compensated. They have an opt-out where they literally get paid to opt out. I'm not qualified to make a medical assertion on it. I do think there's an argument for giving an option to preserve a year of eligibility if you opt out.
Sure.
We'll protect your scholarship. We'll protect your eligibility. You basically lose nothing. You just got to sit on the sidelines for a year. And those that want to, I got my little stereo going back there. Those that want to play can play, and those that don't. So, I do understand that argument.
Sure.
Where it's like, okay, you don't want to play, no problem. We'll preserve your eligibility. We'll preserve your scholarship. Nothing. Basically, you just sit at home. That's what you're going to do anyway.
Mm.
So, I do understand the argument. I don't envy the university administrators that are making this decision, because you're looking at, do I lose $150 million or more in some cases for my program, or am I vilified and then one kid dies? Let's say just one kid dies. There's a couple thousand college football players.
Sure.
Trevor Lawrence dies of COVID.
Oh, my God.
God forbid.
Yep.
Those guys will never recover. You're talking about there's more than just public image. There's lawsuits, there's civil liability.
Sure.
So we just round back that there's no good answer.
No, and I think that those decisions have to be made, and there's a lot of people paid a lot of money to make those decisions. Let's be honest, there are, and I think that everyone wants to, as you were saying earlier, everyone wants to just have an answer, right, and say this is not just this is the way to do it. Everyone wants to say this is the only way to do it. Whatever I personally believe, this is the only way that it can possibly happen or possibly cannot happen. And I do think there's that level of just being more open-minded that people have to be right now. People have to be open-minded to discuss things like that on a national level. Not even just football. People have to be open-minded to discuss stuff like this, and they need to do so without just screaming and saying my facts are right, your facts are wrong. It's just gotten to a point where it's just kind of crazy. It really has.
And it's an issue that's way more nuanced than people make it out to be. There's so many downstream effects of the economy shutting down, football shutting down, people going out of business, bankrupt, suicide rates go up.
I know.
So it goes beyond just, we're saving lives. Like, people literally die at a higher rate of suicide, much higher rate in terms of economic depression. That's a fact.
Agree.
It's been demonstrated again and again. So that's all I'm saying.
And I think that's and not to interrupt, but I think that is a major problem right now with what's happened with COVID and how serious. Of course, everyone should take COVID seriously, and we never want to get anyone sick. We never want anyone to die. But But do I think that there's going to be some long-term mental health issues that come out of all this? I do.
Yeah.
I think that from a business standpoint too, there's a lot of these small businesses that are really struggling right now. We've seen stats, antidepressant pills, how high those are right now, and I think that there are going to be a lot of long-term effects from a mental health issue, which is, a result of COVID. Of course, there's effects, right, as we see every single day with the stats. Of course, there's effects from COVID and the health issues and the, cases and the death rates. Of course, we see those stats even every single day, everywhere you look. But the other stuff, as you mentioned, with people's mental health and things like that, that's not to be, it shouldn't be overlooked.
No, and you're seeing, you cited some of the antidepressant things. The overdoses of opiate drugs, heroin and prescription drugs are through the roof in Oakland County. That was just published a couple of days ago. It's up like
domestic violence.
Domestic violence. I don't know the number on that. I saw it was up, but I remember the drug issue. It's like 140% increase in overdoses in Oakland.
Terrible.
I mean, it's so. It's just, I'm just saying it's complicated. Everyone's making guarantees this way. Everyone has such a strong opinion on it. I can only really make two promises. The first promise is I don't know. And the second promise is you don't know either. I promise you, if you're out there and you think you know what's best, I promise you you're wrong. I promise that you might be right. There's a chance you could be right.
Right,
but you don't know.
It's not necessarily that you're wrong, I don't think. I think it's just that people need to realize that there's a chance that it's not only their way. Right?
Yes.
That there's other stuff to consider. And I think there is that level, again, of being open-minded.
And speaking of being open-minded, I think you might be the most open-minded person in the state right now because you left a very cool, I would argue prestigious in your field job to sort of blaze your own path. I don't know how much is out there with what you're doing. I know a little bit. You're kind of teasing it out. So, what are you doing? What are you comfortable sharing?
I appreciate that, man. No, it's basically... We released kind of a teaser video last night about a marketing company that myself and Kyle Bogey, who I've worked with for years, have launched. And we're doing, honestly, look, speaking of COVID, I think that now more than ever with COVID, businesses are realizing that it is at the utmost importance to be on social media, to have a digital media presence. And I think it's just been huge. And we've launched this. It's called Brand25 Media, LLC. And basically, the average person spends 25% of their day on their phone, right? It's about branding to that 25%. And I think that what we've been able to do with just helping small businesses and really helping these places with their online presence. There's a lot of smart business owners and a lot of smart businesses out there that know that they have to be better, know that they have to have a good online presence, but they either A, don't know how to, or B, they just don't have the time to. So I think that's where we've been able to come in, and whether it's social media management, whether it's digital marketing, whether it's some podcast production, stuff like that, we've been able to come in and without these companies having to hire someone full time and pay a salary and pay healthcare and all that, they're able to hire us and we partner with them to provide a lot of these services at a very certainly a reasonable rate, but kind of to be their marketing arm or their marketing brand of their business without having to spend a full-time salary position on it. So.
I'll tell you what, you got a lot more balls than I do because I work for my family company. So like if I get in trouble, I just I call my dad and say like, hey man, sorry, still your son.
No, and I respect the family company. That's the American dream. Believe me, I do. And that is honestly, it's always been a dream of mine to build a company. It has. It's always been a dream of mine to build a business. And you're right. I had a very, I had a fantastic time at 97.1. I loved working at 97.1, and I've met so many great people over the years there. And that was the thing where it was bittersweet because it was tough to leave from that level, right? It was tough to leave because of how many great people I've met and the opportunities that I've had and the exposure that I've had and the fun times that I've had. But it was also a very easy decision to leave because I knew how strongly I felt about this and how much I believe in digital and what Kyle and I have been able to build and certainly with Metro Detroit golfers, the stuff we've launched too, already the largest golf community in Michigan. That's been wild. So that's going to be a big part of it too. But yeah, it was kind of that just passion and desire to really step out, to build something and to, again, just really work towards growing something that's scalable and just that's been a huge passion of mine to do.
I don't think Valenti's probably no fan of mine. That's a long story. We won't get into that. But the one thing I've heard from people over the years, even people that have worked pretty close to him, like guys over at 97.1, is really keeps to himself, kind of an introvert, like this private guy. I know he's not big on going to press conferences and stuff. Like, what's it like working with Mike Valenti?
Great guy.
You would know more than anybody.
I love the guy. I mean, he's I don't know if you, if you alluded to earlier, but
he used to like me, Mike, but he doesn't like me anymore.
Dude, he's a great guy, and he's dude, he's given me so many opportunities over the years, and had such a great time working with them. And I mean, Roberto will tell you that too. So it's I wouldn't have the opportunities that I've had, a lot of which because of what he's helped me with, the opportunities he's given me on his show and being able to work with him. I mean, he's wired in a way where he's been so successful at just running a show, coming up with topics, having big opinions, and I respect the hell out of it. I respect the hell out of what he's done building his business, and I've told him that he's been able to build his show to this empire and really build this business over the past 15 years he's been doing that. So I have that huge desire, different. I'm not going to be a 4-hour show every day, but I have that same desire to do what he did to really build a business.
I think he's the best at it. I think he's the best I've seen in Detroit, not just at the business aspect, but just pure radio, especially when he's engaged. I've never begrudged like the occasional deviation in the silly topics, because it's in the middle of summer, especially a typical season, not this, what's going on.
Yep.
How many times can you talk about the Tigers when they're in dead last, and it's like
Matt Stafford or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to deviate. So I've always defended guys that have to go on there for 4 hours and my problem is, if you're in the middle of college football season and you're not talking about college football for 4 days in a row, which is, not a problem.
You're biased because you love college. But.
Yeah, well, I am, but that's a whole other story. But I think
I think that's I agree with that. He's one of the best in the country to do that. Where he's so good at picking the topic, right? He's so good at coming up with those opinions and really structuring the show in a way to get people to respond.
It was an interesting thing what happened with him and you guys collectively in the Detroit Lions. I am no fan of the Detroit Lions. I am, but I'm not. I root for them, want them to win. Every year.
Yeah.
Heartbroken. I'm there, but I'm not a fan of ownership and how they're run. I mean, in the few minutes you have, give me like a little insight into what happened. I know.
No, I won't get into that in too much.
You can't get into that.
Well,
okay.
I think that I think it's well publicized and documented. What happened. I think it's it's a lot of people know that
politicians answer. I respect it, so that's fine.
I think a lot of people know that the Lions didn't necessarily like some of the shows that he did and the opinions he had. And from his perspective, he's being honest. And I think a lot of people have appreciated the honesty about the Lions, and I think that there's no doubt from a public standpoint that people know that there was kind of a clash of heads there in terms of the Lions maybe, censoring the right word, is trying to maybe censor some content. But no, I think it should be respected too, that you're going to kind of tell the audience just truly how you feel and not be censored. And I think that's something that, look, as a country right now, I think that from a media standpoint, we need more of that. We need more from our media in this country right now of just being honest and not being censored.
Well, that's why I think he's done a good job. I think he's been successful because it's a kind of cousin Diet Coke version of the Howard Stern model. He's certainly not that outrageous. Few have ever been.
He's credited, on air credited Stern.
Yeah. Just be honest, because people like honesty, and it's so rare. I mean, people like to do that kind of in the box show, and that's more common. But the one thing I'll say, I wish he'd bring back social media. I think I think it needs him. Like, come on, like
you're great on social media, and you know me, I'm a pro. So we would always joke around about how I love social media, and he doesn't.
Do you think he'll ever bring it back? He's pretty anti. You gotta have you're too big to not have a Twitter account if you're Mike Valenti.
Well, I think that what he really focuses on. Hey, you hear my opinion? It's from 2 to 6, right?
Yeah.
And I think that he was really good on Twitter, but it got to a point where he just didn't want to do it anymore, and he just didn't want to deal with the BS on there. You and I both know there's a lot of BS on there.
I've given you a little BS too, but there's a ton of it. It's the most toxic environment ever, and really nobody should be on it. But so in that regard, I get it. I just think when
there's so much, and people need to there's a lot of, I think, Twitter tough guys who will try to go at you or something, but it's like, if you're just it's different behind a keyboard than it's in person. I think if we could all just have better communication and talk to people, And Twitter, and this is me going into the social media marketing stuff too. With Twitter, it's different because it's more, I think that Twitter is more toxic and more hostile than the other. I think that a reason for that is it's not as personal as Facebook or Instagram. I think on Twitter you get a lot of go green 123 handles or go blue 63 or go blue 97.
Yeah. Go blue 63 hates me. The go green hates you.
Yeah,
so.
Well, but that's the thing. You'll get a lot of Don Go Blue 97 on Twitter with a Michigan helmet, who will, and the same with MSU. But you'll get these people with these faceless people, right, who are just going to go run their mouth. Their name's not behind it, right? But I think that it's different on Facebook and Instagram because not that you don't get it on there, and I think you certainly do, but not to that level. On Facebook and Instagram, it is, for the most part, someone's actual name who's on there, their actual identity who's on there, right? So there's that level of, if your name and your identity is attached to something, you're not going to be as inclined to be a total just jerk.
I think the best rule, and it's something I've adopted, I just will not dance with someone on Twitter that doesn't have their real name on there. So if they're saying negative stuff, like if you're bombing me, but it's like, yeah, this is, Joe Sampson, and it's like a picture of him and his kids and stuff. It's like, okay, I'm talking to Joe Sampson from Aurora, Illinois, or wherever. Like, I'll engage, but I'm not going to engage with, Go Blue 6392. Yeah. Like, why would I? Yeah, we're not on the same. It's not a level playing field. You know who I am. I don't know who you are.
But that's the thing too. And this is believe me, this is not, no offense to you. It's not. But you just alluded to how you've given me crap over the years and stuff. And honestly, like, first of all, if people want to give me crap, fine. Yeah. But honestly, like, that's to a point. It did nothing. You can't really let it stick to you. That doesn't stick.
But what did I really say to you, Mike? All I said to you was honestly. You don't even remember. See, was that how bad could it have been?
No offense. Honestly, I don't know.
No.
Because I kind of remember. I know what you're referring to with kind of how you go at sometimes. But I could honestly not tell you because I don't really. No offense. Remember? Yeah. And you get a lot. You get a high volume. You attacking me or coming at me, and I think that people grow, and they learn. Maybe but that's something where. Yeah, you kind of just got to block stuff out too, because I don't remember. No offense, what you had tweeted at me 6 years ago. Or
you don't. That's now I'm mad. No. My thing with you is, I think, pretty innocuous. It was it was about the Stafford going to high school with Kershaw thing, and you and Kelly Rowe mentioning it like 700 times, and I was just like. Okay, like we get it. The joke got its run, I wasn't like calling you like an asshole.
Yeah, screw driving the joke into the ground.
I don't know. So I know somebody out there is looking through my Twitter advanced search to see that I like called you an asshole or something. But I really don't think I ever have.
I don't care. But that's the thing. You also need to grow and learn, right?
Well, but at least I have my name on it, though.
Right.
I own, for better or for worse, and so do you. Yeah. We own our business. And it's like, I'm happy to engage with anybody, but the second I posted something, or tweeted something about Al Avila's inactivity at the trade deadline a few years ago, and somebody Googled my wife's like maternity photo shoot, like found out my wife's name, which is not on Twitter, Googled the maternity shoot and like posted a picture and was like, is this your wife? Like, and it's like, because you don't like my Tiger's sake?
Let me ask you that then. What have you learned over the years on there? Have you learned over the years to dial it down? Have you learned? Do you have any regrets? Have you learned to kind of just not be as hostile? You know what I mean? Like, I would be curious to know that on your end.
Absolutely, there's no question. And it really, you couldn't even just limit it to Twitter. I mean, I wish my foibles were only, relegated to Twitter. Unfortunately, I was an asshole in many mediums. Yeah. I try to not make it personal ever anymore.
Would that be the biggest thing? Do you think, and this is good, do you think that you used to, on social media, get personal with people when you shouldn't have?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
And I think that's big to admit your mistake. And I respect that.
I never tried to, always be careful with never. I never tried to, and I don't think I ever went after somebody's family or anything like that. I think that's just a bridge way too far. Even in my youth, totally. I knew better than that.
No doubt, families too.
But there are times that and there's things I deleted 5 minutes after that I felt bad, even as a dumb kid. Now it wouldn't be tweeted in the first place. So there's no question. I mean, I don't know. You don't have to respond because we have so many mutual friends. But when Drew Sharp died, I had a big thing on Drew Sharp's plagiarism. It drove me nuts that the Free Press never owned it, and that he never owned it, and he kind of smirked at it. And I made a joke after he died. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't like that celebrating that he was dead, but it was something, like you can't steal from Dave Harns anymore, or whatever it was, that you can't plagiarize anymore. Totally insensitive. Why say that? Like, the guy's probably got at least one friend on Twitter that,
So that's something you wish you wouldn't have.
Yeah, I would take that back. Yeah.
And honestly, I respect that you can admit I do. And I think that we all have regrets over the years of what we've said at times. I think that we've all had stuff where maybe it's a situation. I have. I not that I'm losing sleep over stuff, but I mean, if I sat down, I'm sure I could think of regrets I've had over the years, stuff that I've said, stuff that I probably shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
I think that there's certain things. I think one with me was I think I kind of downplayed the. I think I definitely downplayed, for some reason, that Michigan plane crash a little. I don't know why I did that. But even beyond something like that, I think that the regrets I would have would be, certain times on social media, whether I used to let stuff get to me, and maybe you would respond, and I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Overall, I think I've done a good job. I've never gotten in trouble on social media. I've never said anything dumb, really. But I think that there was, a time when I was younger, 5 years ago even, where just the behavior on social media or even on air was a lot different, and you kind of grow and you try to learn.
And I'm glad that that's your perspective, because this whole idea of we're going to tweet dive and find what someone said like 8 years ago and try to end their career, I hate that.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think that, and that's something, and I'll just share this with you. This is something that I've been thinking about doing, and I actually have some speaking engagements lined up with it. I think that's a major problem nowadays. I think that a lot of these teams, and I actually have some, Siren, or I have a couple of Division I teams that I'm actually going to go speak to about this subject. That's already lined up, because I think a lot of these college kids, especially, and I remember how I was when I was 21, 22, 20, 19. A lot of these college kids have no idea what they're saying or what they've said in the past, and I think that there's only so much that a communications director or a sports information director or even a coach can say to kids. I think that they need to have someone come in and tell them, you know what, guys, don't be an idiot on social media. Don't be running your mouth. Don't be using the F word. You want to say it in person with your friends, say it. Don't be using the F word on social media. If you're a white guy, you better not in any way use the N word, because that's something we've seen. That's
repeatedly. But that's like the most common one.
That's something we've seen so often in pro sports and college sports, where there's a keyboard warrior who digs up a tweet of a guy 8 years ago when they were 14 and regrettably said the N-word or something like that.
And half the time it's a rap lyric, which you can't do.
Still, you can't.
Bad.
No.
You can't do it. But I don't think we should end the guy because when he was 13.
But I think they need to be taught that, where there needs to be that level of instruction to not be an idiot on social media. I think that from a business, just if I'm being honest, from a being real with your standpoint, I think there's a lot of teams that should be hiring someone to go in and clean up all these recruits and all these athletes past social media. It's not tough, Go and look and see if someone said the F word 7 years ago, or if someone used the N word 7. You can have people clean up your athletes, or if you're a business, your employees' social media. That's another one. How many, there's stats out there that show, and I'm passionate about this. There's stats out there that show how many jobs and how much money has been lost in the United States because of how many employees that have gotten fired for something dumb they've said on social media over the years. And I think there needs to be that level of instruction and training. My God, there's training for everything. Every other HR, there's training for everything, right? I think there needs to be more training on the business level and on the team level to really how to act on social media and not to be an idiot that's going to get yourself into trouble on social media. There's just no reason.
I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Amani Bates, the commit for Michigan State basketball, because if you follow that guy on Instagram, look, the guy's like 12 years old. I'm not going to get too deep into the woods on this, but there's some problems there. I'll just put it that way. Amani Bates, the superstar recruit for Michigan State. I think he should call you and have you lecture him, because
I'll have to look at it.
It's a little. His Instagram live is like a train of issues. I'm not going to get into it because he's a kid, but he's a big example, a prominent example. So,
and it's also a prominent example of a kid, right?
Yes,
that shouldn't be.
He's like 16.
That shouldn't be beaten on the head for it.
No,
but there needs to be that level of instruction and mentorship and guidance from people to tell him, you know what, wherever you go, whether it's the NBA or whether it's Michigan State or whatever, you're going to have a target on your back.
Yeah,
you're an athlete,
for his sake,
especially nowadays in the age of the iPhone and my God, I think it goes without being said. This is not a Michigan State thing. I think it goes without being said. Problems in this country right now on campuses with other things too.
Yes.
So I think that there needs to be that level of just guidance that some of these athletes have. I really do.
I'll close with this. You've gone over. I appreciate it. This will be quick, but I got to get this out there just for my audience as much as you're curious where you stand on that. The Tigers are 8-5. Everyone's going nuts. Everyone's excited. Playoff baseball around the corner because they expanded the playoffs so the entire league gets in, basically. The team was 8-5 last year, too. They had the exact same record through 13 games, and they finished dead last, one of the worst seasons ever. I think this is a detriment. I would rather they lose every single game and take Kumar Rocker. Are you into this Tigers playoff hunt?
I am. I think people.
I'm the minority.
Can you let people just be happy about something right now?
No, I know.
I think that with a shortened season, if they can get in and just give people some sort of excitement or some sort of hope. Look, I already think that's. I'm already of the mindset, especially with baseball, that we need to just be watching this season. And I'm the biggest, and people know this over the years. I'm the biggest anti-participation trophy guy. I am.
Yeah, you are.
But that being said, I think that people need to watch this season in these circumstances right now in this country and just watch it for what it is and say, you know what, let's get some enjoyment out of watching sports. It's back. It's something to watch. Let's try to do that without just, yelling about how this entire season is an asterisk. Everyone knows.
Oh, whoever wins the World Series, I do not put an asterisk on it.
But everyone knows. Everyone knows this is not the same level or value of a championship in other years. Everyone should know that.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people are trying to argue that this is the exact same as winning the championship 2 years ago. It's not. So
I would take it. I would take it, Mike.
Of course.
I would take it.
No, of course you'd take it.
Yeah.
But I think that people should just watch it at face value and say, you know what? We got some sports back. Let's just try to get some enjoyment out of it. And hey, if they sneak in the playoffs, that'd be.
I get it, and I'm a cynical asshole sometimes, but that's just I would rather have the rebuild healthier, and I think you're better served getting another elite prospect in the number one farm system. But whatever, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to collapse. But you know what? I hope they win the whole thing. I mean, I'm rooting for them too. But,
no doubt.
So appreciate your time, Mike.
Thank you,
Mike Sullivan.
Thank you, the incredible executive producer Roberto for all of his efforts.
I know.
And anything executively produced by Roberto is something that I will get behind or give the time of day.
I can't believe I'm doing a show with Mike Sullivan and Roberto. I feel like I'm your buddy Mike Valenti, so I should be so lucky.
Well, you're certainly an MSU guy.
Yeah. So I'll be the poser Valenti, the much less talented Mike Valenti. So thanks for your time. I know you are the biggest celebrity in town right now. So
please, I will say this: we got a video later this week. Kyle and I are going to drop just for you to make sure following on our social media. Going to do a full video. We did the teaser the other day, but the full video kind of just explaining. It's about an 8-minute video. I'm not saying it's a half hour long, but it's about an 8-minute video just really explaining what we're doing. So definitely.
Yeah, I will check that out, and I might be working with you. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I can afford you. We'll have to work that out.
Digital media, social media marketing, anything, you guys hit me up. You know where to find me.
Yeah, Lord knows I need all the help I can get in here, Mike. So appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Mike came from another event, and now he's going to one after this. So this guy, it's like getting the president here these days. So thanks to Mike Sullivan. Producer Roberto, who's doing this from home. Thanks to Roberto. Thanks to you for listening. And, check out the Michigan Peddler. I got the shirt. It's my sponsor. I can't believe I have a sponsor this early in the game, but they're a fan of the show and they want to support what we're doing. So if you don't know the Michigan Peddler, check them out. They're on social media at MI Peddler. They're awesome. It's those cool bike bars that go through downtown Detroit. Very safe. You're outdoors. They have partitions.
Those are fun.
Those are a blast, and they're the best company. They have like 1,000 Google reviews, and they're all 5s. So check them out. Good friends of the show, Michigan Peddler. Thanks for being part of this, Sullivan. First one in the new format, and we got a lot more to come. Love to have you back.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. Good.